Hi guys, hope you're all having a good weekend. We're here today and it's actually Sunday. We haven't filmed this one in advance.
And we've just broken up.
And we've just broken up from school.
You've just finished.
I've just finished at the school I was working at in Hove. And if anyone from there is watching it, thank you for making it such a nice experience being there. And obviously I'll greatly miss the children I supported there, and maybe they'll miss me a bit. So what we're going to talk about today is the...
Next week, what
Next
we're going
week.
to do, because it'll be Christmas
We've got
Day.
yes, what we're going to do on Christmas Day.
In terms of a video.
Okay. What we're going to talk about today is what we plan to do in a week's time, and that is to vlog on Christmas Day. Obviously it's going to be quite a difficult day, and we've spoken about this before, but I think it's important, as we said, to not set a precedent for it as being a maudlin day, because it's just another day and you have to get through it. And we've sent out support to people who are also going to find Christmas quite challenging. We've got a television company coming to film us in the next week, Tuesday next week, which is all very exciting. So certainly stuff going on.
That'll be broadcast, I think, within the next 2 months.
And that'll be broadcast for the next 2 months. So obviously that's quite a nice project to be a part of. As you can see, we have an addition to our filming space in the form of a cushion with a cat, which is our cat, Nala. That was a Christmas present that I got for you.
Yeah, and we couldn't resist, so like Charlotte used to do, she used to buy me something and couldn't possibly wait until Christmas Day and had to give it to me there and then, and I think Miles has taken over this.
It's quite a nice
trait as
photo, I
well.
think, because you've got
Which
cat
you took.
and you've got the M, so it's like me and Nala in a way. M for Miles, that is. Not a cat. So yes, I will allow you now to close up the part that you're doing.
Yeah,
On Charlotte's journey.
Yeah, this is, it does, as I said last week, this does get quite difficult, so I will do it on my own, which is just easier for Miles, I think.
Yes, obviously I wasn't there for a
No.
lot of it in terms of hospitals and appointments. So yes, I'll let you do that and I'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, Christmas Day.
Okay, look forward to it.
So carrying on from last week, this comes now to the 8th of December, and it was the day after my birthday, and Charlotte wanted to go up to Louis Vuitton because she had her heart set. I think it was the Alma BB bag that she wanted, and she'd sold quite a lot of other stuff, so she was terribly excited about going. And as normal, we were treated so well, and it was so lovely to go up there, and she was so pleased to see everybody. Her walking was not by any means brilliant, but it was a really great day. I remember in the afternoon, it was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, our consultant phoned our consultant phoned my husband on the mobile, and I heard him say, "Oh, that's really good news." And the medication that NICE had refused but we'd managed to get hold of, which of course we had to pay for, was making a difference. However, he did say there were another 2 smaller grey areas, but he would discuss that with us when we saw him. So I kept saying to my husband, "You don't think there's anything wrong then, do you?" And he said, "Well, I don't know." And I thought, 2 more grey areas, what could that be? Of course, later we discovered that that was more glioblastoma. The tumour was spreading quite rapidly at this point. I'm sorry, I have to use my notes for this. I'm just going to cover about 6 or 7 days. So on the 10th of December, we went back to the Marsden because Charlotte was putting on so much weight, and we went to see endocrinology to see what the problem was, and she had actually literally had to fill 3 jerry cans full of urine, which they wanted to analyse, and we've been doing that for about the previous 3 to 4 days. And so every time she had a wee, we had to put it in this jerry can. There was obviously quite a lot of it. These would eventually be analysed to see if they could work out what the weight gain actually was. On the 13th of December, it became very, very plain to my husband and I that her walking was getting far, far worse. Her gait was far, far bigger than we'd ever seen before, and she was so clumsy with her walking. I was fortunate to have a friend of mine who was in fact a fully trained neurophysiotherapist, and she very kindly came down and gave Charlotte a bit of a hand on stuff she could do, and in fact gave us the walking sticks, the walking sticks that Charlotte used for a little bit. And I remember she would go up the corridor and my friend would time her to see how long it would take her, and of course it took her far longer, and she was hanging onto the walls as she walked up the corridor. It was quite a pitiful sight to see for poor Charlotte. She found it all so difficult. Sorry. Back again to the Marston on the 14th, and we saw our consultant again. And we'd still had nothing back from histology. Her biopsy had been on the 4th of October. There were still no results coming through. Everything seemed to be taking so long. We didn't know why. Our consultant wasn't too sure, but he was going to chase everything up. And he was keen for her to try some additional medication. On the 15th of December, Charlotte said that her aim would be to walk properly in the next 6 weeks, and she was going to really try and get her balance sorted out. Little did we know that shortly after 6 weeks, within 10 weeks, she would have actually passed away. And her ambition, I remember, was to be walking for her 19th birthday. She was in fact in a coma for her 19th birthday. We had the results from the endocrinology, and they said no, there was nothing wrong with the hormone, there was no imbalance. As I said last week, we found out that obviously the tumour was very much over the hypothalamus now, so it wouldn't really have mattered. It was whatever they gave her, it wasn't going to make any difference. I broke up on the 18th of December last year, and I remember she was so happy, because it was that time of year, the time it is now. Her favourite time, the one where she'd get everything ready, she'd be in charge. And it was difficult, but we did actually manage to get out a little bit together. She would hang on to me, but we managed it. On the 19th of December, they decided to bring in a new regime with new medication. And the pills were now going to go up to 35 a day. And we had to try and fit 35 pills into 15 hours. Some with food, some without food. It was an absolute nightmare. And I laminated little pieces of paper with AM and PM and lunchtime and put all the medication, so every morning when I got up I would have to strategically work out which was when, and it was half an hour before food, half an hour after food. We did manage to do it. I don't know how. I pity anybody that, if you're not organised, I think you've had it. I did manage to get it down to a fine art, but it was very difficult. On the 20th of December we managed to get into town for one of our last times. I still haven't managed to go back in, and I don't even know whether I ever will do. On the 22nd of December, we went back to the Marsden, and he said there'd been a slight improvement he felt in her speech, but her facial palsy was not good, and her smile wasn't good. And I know that she did several videos on that. She worked so hard trying to regain her smile. We needed to go back on the 30th of December. He wanted to do another MRI 6 weeks later, which, as I know now, certainly wasn't going to happen. And as she got into the car, she put her head on my lap. She just said, "Mummy, I don't want to die." As I said, these videos are very hard to do. But she left me a legacy. I don't want to let her down. She was so brave the way that she did those videos. And I look back on some of the unseen footage that she did, and they were really hard for her to do. Next week, as Miles said, we'll do a vlog just to have something a bit different. And then I'll carry on with her story, and in fact Christmas Eve will be her 10-month anniversary. And so I intend to go to the florist and get a really nice big bunch of yellow roses to take with me next Saturday for 103. I'm going to really try and get the tree up, you know, if it's just for 48 hours. I really, you know, it means a lot, and I really want to make everything as normal as possible for Miles, because it's really important. And I bought him some nice presents and things, so I think he'll be pleased with those. Anyway, I do hope that everybody has a really nice run up to Christmas. I know Charlotte used to find the week before the most exciting, and I used to as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and we'll vlog next week. Thank you. Bye.